You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980. My name is Les Brown. I'm Mrs. Baby Brown's baby boy. We come your way Monday through Friday from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, bringing you the most positive show on radio and challenging you to get engaged in some conversations about topics of interest to you. And today we're talking about what are some of the life lessons, things that you've learned that you'd like to talk to young people about, that if you had an opportunity to get in their ear, this is what you will say to them. I want to find out right now from you, Ivy from Thousand Oaks. And what is it that you would say to young people if you had an opportunity to speak to them that you've learned from life?
Hi, Les.
Hi, Ivy. Thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome. This is kind of exciting. Anyway, the life lesson I would tell the younger generation is that as an adult, you need to be your own person and not seek everybody's approval, because you will never please everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just coming from, my growing up, my childhood. Growing up, I've, done everything I needed to do to please my parents. But when I grew up, when I was an adult, I still kept seeking the approval of my mom and my dad, and it was making me miserable. And at some point, I kind of finally just realized, you know what, I have to do things that make me happy.
Oh,
and
I see.
So, and
yes.
So,
how do you feel about that? I mean, are you comfortable with that, or are you still struggling with that?
Oh, I'm very comfortable with my person now. I just kind of came out of a friendship where I was doing things to seek the approval of my friends, and it was very hard. It was kind of like a high maintenance friendship, and I just realized I have to be my own person and really not sacrifice my values just to make someone else happy.
Yes, that's a very good point. Listen, I appreciate that, Ivy. Thank you so very much. You said something major there. Thank you. Bye. Ivy said not to sacrifice my own values just to make somebody else happy. That she came up in a household, she wanted to prove her parents, get her parents' approval for everything, and that carried over into her adulthood. Now, all of us want to have our parents' approval, but at some point, it's about what is it you want that will make you happy, and that's where she has grown and expanded her consciousness, and a paradigm shift has taken place for her. We want you to call. The number to call is 888-539-2980. If you had an opportunity to talk to young people today, what's some of the life lessons that you've learned that would be of value to them? 888-539-2980. I want you to call and share that now. There are young people listening to this program as young as 11 years of age. They'll be listening to you. 888-539-2980. Alice, thank you so much for calling in. Alice, I'm curious. You're in Burbank. You've learned 2 life lessons. What are those 2 life lessons that governs the way that you see life and that you think would be a benefit to young people today?
Les Brown, what a delight to you and to your audience. It's just a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.
2 things I've learned. When you first meet a person, for young people, when you first meet a person, whether it's a teacher, employer, coach, they will never know your troubled background unless your poor conduct reveals it to them. I used to think people had my number, that they knew what my background was. Not necessarily. It's only if your poor conduct shows them something.
Yeah.
So don't put yourself in a box because you have a troubled background or you only had one parent, any of those things. You have the power to overcome any background. The second thing I've learned, and this was from a friend, your troubled background can be your greatest strength. I had a friend who had a tough upbringing as far as socially within his family, but he ended up being a corrections officer. And every day he could overcome the obstacles of dealing with the inmates because he had a perspective on what real trouble was.
Mm-hmm.
And who would have known when he was going through that and alcoholism in the family that this would give him the type of, tough exterior he needed to deal with what he would be doing professionally. So those are the 2 things that I would say. No one knows your background. Just shine and be who you are. And let that trouble be your stepping stone.
Alice, what do you do?
Many things, but I'm a parking manager.
Wow, you could be a life coach, too. You just fascinate me.
But listen, I adore you, and you've brought such a fresh conversation for all of us, and I feel like I have a new family listening to you. All these people who love, who care, and who just want to enjoy each other. I adore you.
Well, thank you so much. I adore you. And I'm going to use your term. Yes, call me so we can have a fresh conversation. I like that. Okay, thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, wow. I just love her voice. Hey, listen, George, I want to have a fresh conversation with you around this issue about principles and lessons that you have learned in life that you would like to share with young people today. What would you say?
I work with troubled kids. So I work with that every day with kids. Oh, my mom did this, my dad did this, or I didn't get a shot and I didn't go. There's so much opportunity nowadays for school and programs. And I tell the kids, all you do is walk to their front door. But I don't hear no whining. You know, I grew up in Los Angeles in the 60s. I didn't ask my mom and dad for anything because I wanted to do it myself.
Yes.
I don't want to depend on anyone. If they did help me, I rewarded them by doing good in life. Okay, I do many things. I'm into old cars, and I run juvenile facilities, me and my partner, Lupe Rodriguez. And I tell the kids, quit whining. You're not entitled. You're entitled to what you put out.
You know something, but you just said something, George, that was key. You said you reward your parents by doing something good with your life.
Yes, I did.
Man, that's a good thing. Just imagine what kind of results and benefits that we would all receive if more young people live their lives from that place, not succumbing to the negative peer pressures of their friends, but saying, you know what, I want to live my life in such a way that it's a reward to my parents, that when they hear my name, it won't be because the police is called, but because I've done something to make them proud.
Yeah. I tell the boys, you need to have a drive. You don't have a drive. I don't care if you have a college degree or whatever. You don't have a drive. You don't get nothing if you don't have a drive. And go for what you want to get in life. You quit whining. You're not entitled to anything unless you work for it. I even tell my grandkids, Grandpa, can I have some firewood for my barbecue? Well, do something for me. Nothing's free.
That's right.
Do something, and I'll give it to you.
That makes a lot of sense.
And like I said, I have no problem helping anyone, but they have to give me something back.
That makes a lot of sense. Listen, thank you, George. I appreciate your calling in and sharing that, and engaging in this fresh conversation about the lessons of life that we can share with our young people. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I've been listening to you for a long time. I've been listening for many years. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to say what I wanted to tell people.
Oh, thank you.
People heard me and have that drive and go for it.
Okay, most certainly will. All right. George is right. Have the drive. Go for it. Live a life of achievement, not a life of a whiner. Listen, Brandon and Sean and David, we want to thank you for holding on. I'm going to be right with you. We're talking about what is it you would share with young people today. If you had an opportunity, and you do have that opportunity right here, we have young people listening. In fact, a large part of our demographics involve young people. What are some of the life lessons that you wish that somebody had told you, or you wish that you had really followed through on? The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. One of the things that I say to young people is that you will fail your way to success. You will fail your way to success. That 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. That as you look at your goals and look at your dreams, understand and know defeats, disappointments, and failures, that's a part of the process, but don't allow that to stop you. You will fail your way to success. I have a saying, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. You will fail your way to success. I want to hear from you. What's a life lesson that you have learned that young people today can benefit from? The number to call is 888-539-2980. 888-539-2980. My name is Les Brown. I'm looking for your call right now, and there are young people waiting, listening with great anticipation. You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980.